The village of Oakhaven was nestled at the edge of Whispering Woods. A place of simple folk, it was known for its peaceful charm, yet a lingering fear clung to its heart. The woods were dark, full of secrets. They whispered tales of things best left undisturbed. Scarlet, a girl of 10 summers, lived in Oakhaven. She was known for her infectious laughter and her bright, curious eyes. But most of all, she was known for the crimson cloak her grandmother had sewn for her. It was a vibrant red, a splash of color against the dreary backdrop of the woods. Scarlet's mother. "Take this basket to grandmother. She's unwell." Scarlet, ever the dutiful child, took the basket, her crimson cloak billowing behind her as she skipped towards the woods. She was oblivious to the shadows that seemed to follow her, whispering warnings on the wind. The path through Whispering Woods was narrow and winding. Sunlight struggled to penetrate the dense canopy of leaves. Twisted branches, gnarled like skeletal fingers, reached out towards Scarlet. They seemed to claw at her cloak, urging her to turn back. The deeper Scarlet ventured, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. The air grew heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. A strange silence hung in the air. The cheerful chirping of birds was replaced by an unsettling stillness, broken only by the sound of her own breath and the rustle of leaves beneath her feet. The shadows grew longer, stretching out like grasping claws. The once familiar woods had transformed into a menacing labyrinth. Fear, cold and sharp, began to prick at Scarlet's courage. She clutched the basket tighter, her pace quickening as she pressed on, desperate to escape the growing darkness. A figure emerged from the gloom as if birthed from the shadows themselves. Tall and gaunt, it was draped in a dark hooded cloak that concealed its face. Scarlet stopped, her heart pounding in her chest like a frantic bird. The gaunt man. "Lost, little one?" "Scarlet. I'm going to my grandmother's." The figure chuckled, a dry, rustling sound like dead leaves skittering across the ground. The gaunt man. "The woods hold many secrets, child. Not all paths lead to where you think they do." The words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken menace. Then, with a rustle of fabric, the figure melted back into the shadows, leaving Scarlet trembling in its wake. Scarlet pushed on, each step filled with growing dread. The figure's warning echoed in her ears. The image of her grandmother, frail but always welcoming, spurred her on.
Finally I see it. Grandmother's cottage, nestled amongst the trees. But something's wrong.
The windows, usually filled with warm light, were dark. An unnatural silence hung over the clearing.
Hesitantly I approached, my hand trembling as I knocked on the door.
A low, guttural growl from inside sent a shiver down her spine.
"Come in, dearie. The latch is open."
But the voice was wrong, distorted like a cruel parody of her grandmother's gentle tone. Scarlet pushed open the door and stepped inside. The cottage was dim, the air thick with the cloying scent of something rotten. She saw her grandmother in bed, shrouded in shadows.
"Grandmother,"
she whispered, fear clutching at her throat. The figure in the bed shifted, turning to face her. Scarlet gasped. Her grandmother's face, usually wrinkled with age but kind, was now twisted into a grotesque mockery. Her eyes, once warm and loving, were now cold and predatory, gleaming with an unnatural light.
"Closer, child. Let grandmother see how big you've grown."
The creature rasped, its voice a horrifying rasp. Scarlet backed away, her mind reeling in horror. This was not her grandmother. This was something monstrous, something evil, wearing her grandmother's skin. A terrifying roar ripped through the cottage. The creature in the bed lunged, its body contorting, morphing into a horrifying beast. It was a creature of nightmares, all fangs and claws, its eyes burning with malevolent glee.
"Oh."
Scarlet screamed, a high-pitched sound that was swallowed by the creature's roar. She turned and ran, scrambling back towards the door, but it was too late. The creature was upon her, its claws tearing at her cloak. Scarlet fell, the basket tumbling from her grasp.
"No."
Her scream was cut short, swallowed by the darkness of the woods. Silence descended upon the cottage, broken only by the rustle of leaves outside and the creature's satisfied growl. The crimson cloak, torn and muddied, lay at the edge of the woods, a splash of vibrant color against the encroaching darkness. It was the only sign of Scarlet, a grim warning to those who dared to enter the woods.
Oakhaven remained silent, forever haunted by the disappearance of Scarlet. The crimson cloak, a symbol of love and protection, became a beacon of fear, a reminder of the darkness that lurked just beyond the safety of the village.